How's it going, you wonderful people? It's Jay, and in today's video we're going to talk about how this game revolutionized the world of 3D gaming and 3D adventures forever. Let's do this, Hylian heroes. Whenever you talk about Zelda, one game in particular that comes up every single time has to be the 1998 classic Ocarina of Time. One of the very first 3D adventure games and the first Zelda 3D game. It was one of the most groundbreaking, revolutionary games for its time. And we've been playing Ocarina of Time recently. I've been trying to practice the game, and I'm finding that it still holds up today. Over 20 years later, it's still a masterpiece of Nintendo perfection. But if you take all that nostalgia, box it up and put it to one side and look at the game's mechanics, Ocarina of Time is just built with revolutionary and groundbreaking tech that has really found its way into loads of games up until today. So let's take a look at some of those incredible innovative features. The first one is a very simple one, but it changed gaming forever. Imagine being able to map an item to a button. It sounds so simple, but Ocarina of Time did it and perfected it. One of the very first games to do it actually wasn't Ocarina of Time, but it was Link's Awakening, where you could assign your sword, your shield, your boots, anything to A and B. Nintendo took that further with Ocarina of Time. You had a fixed button for your sword, a fixed button for your shield, but then you had a free-for-all where you could put anything to those C buttons, and it was revolutionary for the time. It opened up the possibilities for incredible puzzles. It made the game feel way more fluid. You didn't have to press pause every 5 seconds unless you were in the water temple. It was such a great way to create this flowing adventure, and it made you feel as if you were playing as Link. So speaking of buttons, the next innovative feature has to be contextual buttons, where you map different actions to one button. Again, it sounds super simple, but Ocarina of Time did it so well, where you'd have the A button as your action button, and it would change depending on what you're interacting with in this world. So if you had this block and you wanted to push it, the button would say push. If you had a ladder and you wanted to climb it, the button would say climb. It sounds super simple, but it allowed players to have way more control over the environment and made the game feel way more immersive, and it paved the way to contextual buttons in pretty much every 3D game that you play these days. And speaking of interactive environments, Ocarina of Time was one of the first 3D games that really put you in this space that could be transformed, destroyed, rebuilt. Imagine going up to the 4th floor of this epic dungeon and blowing up this pillar, and this pillar falls all the way down to the 1st floor and unlocks the path to new doors, new dungeons, new areas. That's what Ocarina of Time did so well. You can manipulate this environment, you could change it, you can shape it, and even through time as well. If you play as young Link and you do something when you're young, it affects the flow when you're adult Link. It was such a crazy idea and really paved the way for these destructible environments in the games that we play these days. And of course, the last but probably most important innovative feature from Ocarina of Time has to be Z targeting. Can you imagine any game where you wouldn't be able to target? Can you imagine a 3D game where you couldn't target and lock onto things? It's crazy, right? But it all started in Ocarina of Time. All you had to do was tap the Z button and it would lock onto an object, whether it's something you want to pick up or whether it's something you want to jab your sword into. It really paved the way for incredible combat, amazing boss battles where you felt like you're truly in control. You're not like randomly trying to fire things. It really felt like you were in control of this character, and you see it in so many modern games where you lock onto things, where the camera follows the character in such a way. This was all inspired by Ocarina of Time. And this quote from Rockstar Vice President Dan Houser in 2012 is the perfect statement to wrap up this video. It says, "Anyone who makes 3D games who says they've not borrowed something from Mario or Zelda on the Nintendo 64 is lying." And that's probably the perfect testament, the perfect statement to sum up just how incredible and innovative Nintendo was when it came to creating these incredible 3D worlds and some really innovative controls. And the game lives on more than 20 years later, has inspired countless 3D adventure games, and is most loved. And if you haven't played Ocarina of Time, what are you doing? Go and grab a Nintendo 64 cartridge or a 3DS and play the game. It is a beautiful Zelda adventure. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button. If you want to see more Zelda, more Nintendo videos, be sure to smash that subscribe button, and we'll see you wonderful Hylian heroes in the next video. Bye bye.